I thought I said weather before, but
Did
I just
you?
want to reiterate.
You say a lot of things.
I say a lot of things. We want to get to the forecast because
It's hot.
it's hot, but it is a Nick pick,
It is
It's
a
not
nitpick.
as hot as it has been.
Right.
and it's a Nick pick, and we got meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees here in the Live Impact studio.
Yay!
Hey.
What I'm looking forward to this weekend, and this is totally selfish, is
Okay.
the fact that when there's storms, your girl has to be at work extra early. And Carlene knows when we make plans and want to hang out with the dogs, and I have to go into work at noon, I am not pleased. So a weekend with no storms means Summer Brittany gets to come out.
Oh,
Summer Brittany gets to go hang out
man.
on Sunday before I have to come into
Whee!
work without the concern of storms. So
That's right.
But
Boom.
is it going to be? I know you'll get into this, but today is like the best feeling day, right?
Yeah, probably the
compared
best
to-
feeling day that we will have until September.
Oh, okay.
That's right, Nick.
And it's
Take a deep breath.
because we actually have some slightly lower humidity. So
Yeah.
that front that came through yesterday that caused the flooding, of course,
Yeah.
in Burke and Caldwell counties,
Mhm.
and some wind damage in Alexander and Iredell, and of course Catawba and Lincoln as well, had one benefit. The dew point is back in the 50s.
Oh man,
How was your run this morning?
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Felt great.
Yeah.
And then I got a little sad because I knew that
You know, knew it was
It's
only
short-lived.
lasting
it's
one day.
short-lived. I have a race tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Oh.
8
At
a.m.
8K.
Well, it won't be as nice as right now, but it
Yeah.
won't be as bad as next week.
Okay, I feel better about that. Even though I stay hydrated, wear the sunscreen,
Yeah, you know what to do.
but I still get a little nervous about the
What?
heat.
How far are you running?
It's 8K, so a little under 5 miles.
Okay.
So
You have a time in mind?
I'll probably my goal about 50 minutes, under
Okay.
50 minutes.
Good for
Okay.
you.
Yeah, so
Good for you.
nice moderate pace.
Yeah.
I just want to enjoy it. I'm not really.
Yeah.
I say that now, but I'm competitive. Huh?
Yeah.
You're a perfectionist.
Yeah, I am.
Well, remember, strategy. What's your strategy normally?
I usually start out a little slower and then I gradually speed up. The
Progressive
first
build.
yeah,
Love
because the
it.
first mile I want to fill it out and then I kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my strategy.
Yeah. This is like the little bit of the fitness side starting to come in, but there's three main components: progressive build,
Okay.
hit and hold, which is like where you hit the same pace.
Okay.
It's like think like gas in a car, and then alternating between a higher pace and lower pace. I'm a
gotta
fan
work
of
on the third.
progressive build.
I got a third. I gotta work on a third one.
Yeah, but I think it's just different strategy.
Okay,
I'm a
that's
fan
fair.
of the progressive build. Like you start in something you can
Yeah.
maintain, and you just slowly increase it. as you go.
That's me all the way. See, this is why we.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is
kind
why-
of opposite when I run.
He-
I start out.
Yeah.
You and Jeb are like.
We start out fast.
I'm like,
Yeah.
slow down, guys. Slow
Well, you know,
down.
Yeah.
You get it out while you have the
Well, it's
energy.
also just different too in like how you run, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like an Olympic athlete that runs like a long distance, like they probably don't have a good mile time. Like it's not
Right.
they're built and like trained for one specific thing. So
Yeah.
right.
Now since I have lower back issues, we won't get into that. I'm a very slow jogger, so I'm a fan of the progressive build.
But you-
Let's talk about the forecast.
Oh yeah. Enough about my running.
Yeah, enough about fitness. It's a great day.
Yeah.
Dallas Tower Cam, nice and clear, much different than yesterday when we were looking at storms towering, 56. And you love when that temperature and that feels like are pretty much the same because it feels fantastic outside. The dew points, unfortunately, are going to soar heading into tomorrow and the weekend. We could see a few dips here and there next week, but we're primarily going to be muggy, if not humid. Now, I'm a fan of this graphic. I have gotten emails before saying that people do not like this graphic because they think it's silly, but I'm a big fan, so I'm going to show it anyway. Muggy meter, we're smiles now. We might be frowning or a little surprised heading into tomorrow afternoon. There we are, and then Sunday. Look at all those shocked faces.
Shocked.
The
Shock and awe.
yeah, the shocked face, the sad face, or the little tongue out face. Those are the ones that are the most humid. So I think it's just a nice little way to show how sticky it is because when I just give you numbers, how the heck are you supposed to know, right? A Doppler radar right now, dry and quiet. We're not dealing with any rain-related issues, so we're continuing to watch, of course, water levels recede in some of those areas that had flooding yesterday. I do want to give a quick recap. We did, of course, have some wind damage reports in Catawba County, Lincoln County, but it was primarily flooding in that area in Caldwell County near Valmead, pretty much right between Lenore and Patterson. Thankfully, multiple days with no rain, so we're not expecting additional issues in those same spots ahead of before. I think there could be a stray shower mainly south of Charlotte tomorrow, but again, I'm still keeping us at 0% because it's going to be the exception, not the rule. Tomorrow morning, right around 70, so again, it won't be quite as nice as this morning, Nick, but still relatively nice start. Highs will soar, though, into the mid-90s. So we just have to kind of think of today as great, and tomorrow and Sunday, not to bring us back, but as a progressive build, will be a little bit more sticky Saturday, a little bit more sticky Sunday, and then Monday, it's going to take off and skyrocket. In fact, last year, the National Weather Service put out this new 3-day heat impacts map, and it's just a general idea of how much heat impact they expect there to be based on what the feels like temperature, of course, is, which I know we talked about earlier this week, is the combination of the heat and the humidity. It is not a random number that the meteorologists throw out because they're feeling sassy that day. It is a scientific calculation. So based on the heat and humidity combined, right now it looks like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are going to be our hottest and stickiest days, with the exception kind of placed on Tuesday and Wednesday. Anytime you get a heat index over 103, that's where you start to see those heat cramps, heat exhaustion start to be issues. Remember that whatever the air temperature is where you are, if you're in the direct sunlight for about an hour, you got to add about 10 to 15 degrees. The more hours you're outside in the direct sun, the more it feels hotter outside. So right now we're looking at today, 90. Oh, actually, I updated this graphic, but I didn't roll in the right one. Stand by, everybody.
Standing.
Stand by.
Standing.
That was
Everybody hold.
the one that
Pause.
Chris and Majestic were using this morning. I wanted to start with tomorrow, but then also I updated this just with some updated numbers. So again, today the actual air temperature matching with the temperatures.
wow.
Boom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, sorry, just progress one day. We have multiple graphics, of course, and we have a lot that are like AM versus PM. And I think Chris Mulcahy accidentally updated my PM one, but it's okay. So I made a new one. So here we go. So Saturday and Sunday, mid to upper 90. So again, that progressive build up into that feels like temperature nearing 100. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I think those will be our hottest and most humid days of next week. Now, we will have to watch and kind of see how things progress, because what sometimes happens, which we love to see it doesn't mean the forecast is as accurate, but I won't complain about this, is sometimes what happens is we get to Monday and the dew point isn't quite as sticky as we expected. So that feels like a 103 can quickly drop to around 100. So as we go throughout the next few days, we will adjust these numbers, of course. But if you have outdoor plans, you work outside, the kids are going to be at summer's camp, vacation Bible school, whatever, they're going to be outside. I think Monday through Wednesday are the 3 biggest days. We'll probably still feel those feels like temperatures near or above 100. Thursday and Friday just not quite as hot. And then a look at the extended forecast. We will eventually bring in some low chances for rain, so temperatures won't be quite as warm. But look at those temps. Even if the feels like temperature does not approach 105, we're looking at, I would say, the next 5 days, probably every single day. Not to bring up this word again, but progressive build. Every single day is going to be hotter than the next. So our highest temperature so far this year is 91, 93, 95, 97, 99. Just a step ladder, slowly but surely. And I will say, it's actually really hard for us here in the South to get to a high temperature in the upper 90s, low 100s, because actually, as time has gone on, yes, we're hot every day of the summer, but it's harder to get to 100 now than it used to be because of the humidity. So I know that seems like a crazy thing to say, but we've hit Charlotte 103 4 times. It's the hottest temperature in the city. But decades ago, it wasn't as humid. So the actual air temperature was probably also 103. But now, because it's muggy outside, and it takes way more energy to warm up moist air than dry air, it actually gets harder to get into the 100s. But the feels like temperature.
I was about to say the feels like temperature.
Yeah. So it's an increase more in the moisture content and the humidity. So it doesn't mean that it's not as hot now as it used to be, of course, because it is. But depending on what day and what year it is, you'll notice more heat index value is that high, but it is a little bit harder to get to 100. The difference is, though, is we hit upper 90s multiple days, whereas we didn't do that as much back in the day. Same reason why April and March were some of the warmest months on record, but then May was so cool and dry, it averaged out to not the warmest spring on record.
Man. Not, you know what? But hey, we're here.
We're here.
It's summer.
Yeah.
It's summer.
I'll say the same thing I said yesterday. I wasn't here yesterday,
powerful.
but I was on the show. Is that, yes, we get hot during the summer, but don't come at me saying that we're this hot every single summer. It depends on the year. Sometimes we have 5 days in a row of feels like temperatures above 100. Sometimes it's 3 days. We normally don't see a stretch more than about 5. So seeing a prolonged heat wave is a little bit abnormal, but it's not even just because we don't get so many consistent days like this. It's because it's the first one. It's not like we're trying to be dramatic. We know it gets hot in the South.
And the most
Yeah.
and most important thing, just be safe.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
the thing. If
yeah.
you know to stay safe and you are taking those precautions, you'll be fine. But there, unfortunately, is a reason why heat is the #1 killer in the United States when it comes to a weather impact, because you can't see heat. So it's like a forgotten risk sometimes.
Yeah.
Versus you can see a tornado, you can see wind, you can see hail.
And I learned something this week. Brad told me that he runs in the middle of the day. I didn't know that.
He's
Brad
a
runs in the middle
freak.
of the day.
Yeah.
He basically like runs when he wakes up. So like he doesn't like actively get up and try to hit like the, like the coolest part.
You'd think he would.
He says he's a freak and he's trained for it. Isn't that what he
Yeah,
said?
that's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much
well,
what he said.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're trained for
He
it.
literally
trained
said,
for
I
it,
think he
but-
literally said, I don't take my own advice.
So, because I was saying, we were in the 4 o'clock show. We said this on air, and I said, hey, I see people out there running in the middle of the day. I don't know how they do it. And Brad said, actually, I do it.
Yeah.
I am those
I guess it
people.
also depends on what you consider middle of the day. Because, like, I guess really solar noon, like the hottest time, he's
Yeah.
probably at work. So if
Yeah.
it's like the coolest part of the morning
That's
versus
fair.
the hottest, it's probably somewhere in the middle. Because by the time we're hitting our peak heat index, like he's physically in the building.
Yeah. That's,
So
But
it's a-
still, running at noon is still insanity.
So
in
it's
my
a do as I
opinion.
say, not as I do situation for Brad Panovich when it comes to running out.
I mean, he said it, not us. We're
He
just-
said it.
yeah.
He said it.
Yeah.
He said it.
But I mean, we're honestly, we're all guilty of that sometimes.
yeah.
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 We just, yeah.
Wear your sunscreen.
Sunscreen,
Yeah.
hydrate.
Drink water.
Drink water.
Wear a hat.
Bucket water. Wear
Yeah.
the hats.
Take breaks inside.
Take breaks in the shade.
Listen to your body.
Listen to your body. We know some
Most
people have to work outside. They have no other choice but to be
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
So please listen to your body.
And I would say if you have, like whether they're people you live with or your neighbors or whoever, check on the elderly, check on people with
Yeah.
young kids. If you know friends or family too that maybe don't have air conditioning in their home, maybe invite them to spend a few hours over, or even let them stay, whatever it is. We need temperatures to also cool off at night so that our body can kind of reset for the next day. So a lot of heat-related illnesses can sometimes be caused by like prolonged lack of AC. So
Right.
even if it's only like, I say only, but even if it's 93, and not a heat index of 105, so many days exposed to that heat can also cause
take a
other
toll.
heat.
Yeah.
It actually increases your cardiovascular risk
Huh.
for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like you said, make sure you check on the elderly folk, those children.
Check on your people.
Check
which
on
I
your
feel like it's
people,
for
yeah.
everything, right?
Because I remember working in rural South Carolina early
Yeah.
in my career, and it's very rural, obviously, and there are a lot of people that did not
That didn't
have
have it.
AC,
Mhm.
and you walk into the house, it's like 80 degrees, 90 degrees.
And that's their normal, but it's still.
Yeah, but still, it's a dangerous
At a certain
situation.
age,
Yeah.
like it's dangerous.
Yeah. And look, so there are a lot of
Yeah.
folks out there that don't have the AC. So check on your folks, as Brittany said.